Clarita community for being here. And it should be an informative evening for you. So I am very pleased to introduce Chief Delmise from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, and welcome.
I have to apologize. The sheriff was here. We had a nice meeting with the mayor and city council, city manager, and he was called away. We had something unfortunate happen to one of our deputy personnel, so he had to go deal with that immediately. So we're going to push forward because all of you were kind enough to come out tonight. I want to introduce myself. I'm Larry Delmise. I'm the chief of staff for Alex Villanueva. I've had a 35-year career with the LA County Sheriff's Department. I worked my way up, as we all do, starting in the jails. And during the last administration, I was a captain overseeing 6 courthouses in the court services division. But most of my career has been spent as an investigator. I've worked the gang detail as a deputy, a sergeant, a lieutenant, and most of all, I've been a resident of this valley for 36 years. So I'm a little bit aware of the problems here in Santa Cruz Valley and some of the things we're doing to help those problems. I've got Captain Rob Lewis with me tonight over here to help me answer your questions, and Chief Dennis here. And I want to thank you all for coming. Let me start with the first question. They request an opportunity to discuss CCW, or Concealed Carry Weapons Permit allowances. I think the change in this administration that we've seen is Sheriff Villanueva is very open to giving CCW permits, where in the past I think we constricted our allotment or the number of permits that were issued in the last few years. His requirement is just state law. If we follow the requirements set forth in state law, I think he has said many times that he has no problem issuing them. And we do have a lieutenant in the undersheriff's office who is responsible for that process. So if anybody's interested in applying for a CCW permit with the LA County Sheriff's Department, please contact us and we'll route you to the appropriate lieutenant. I do think, though, the number of permits issued is starting to rise a bit. As a town councilman requesting ID cards as a member recognized for access in times of disasters, I'm not familiar with that subject as far as town council IDs. Rob?
So I know that some of the concerns come up in regards to natural disasters. For instance, we had the fires over the course of the past couple of days, especially over at Magic Mountain. Being able to access certain areas, council members, town council members, city council members. So the question has been presented to me, and I'm currently reviewing that with the sheriff and the sheriff's office, whether or not that is something we can do. And then also figuring out with my own staff at the station, we have a great support staff here, take a look at what kind of identification we can have from the station level that we can provide for individuals, especially when disasters come up. With Magic Mountain, I had the general manager. Magic Mountain was unable to get in to assist over the weekend, so that was part of the concern that came up. So I just want to let you know we're looking into it, and we will let you know as we move further.
Okay, we're concerned about community safety and requesting an increase in dedicated law enforcement. Become familiar with our area. That is not just your concern, but I do know that that's Sheriff Villanueva's concern. We have a big turnover on the Sheriff's Department, and sometimes deputies in the past have not stayed long at a station before transferring out. What the sheriff has done is he's implemented new standards to give deputies a roadmap to promotion within the Sheriff's Department, which we didn't have before. The first step in that roadmap is going to be 4 years of their first patrol assignment. So they won't come, train, and leave, as has happened in the past. The encouragement will be that they stay within the area for at least 4 years, and in that time, develop that knowledge and expertise of the area, of the citizens, and promote that community-oriented policing philosophy that the sheriff has embraced. So that's one of the first building blocks of getting back into community-oriented policing by having the deputies stay in the area for a minimum of 4 years. Coordination of safety with College of the Canyons.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I didn't start the last one off with thank you everybody who came out tonight. It's great to have the community and the communities around us. It's good to see some familiar faces. In regards to College of the Canes, so one of the things that we are working with in regards to College of the Canes and some of our other, for instance, Master's College and Cal Arts, is we are trying to establish some type of protocol where we have direct communication right away. We've had a couple of instances at the college where our responses could have been better, I'll admit to you. Every time we go to responses, we always can improve. And that's what I ask the deputies to do and the staff to do, is always improve. So we've been working with Master's College, Cal Arts, and College of the Canes in order to improve some of our responses. That way the students know when they go to the school, when they go to COC, we have Cal Arts, that's an international college, and we also have Master's College, which is a Christian college. So we want to be able to serve all three of those colleges, give them the best aspect, especially nowadays with the rise in school shootings. So we are working with College of the Canes and the other colleges to have the best response. So. Recent home invasion. So I'll talk a little bit, real quickly about that. Before I do, I know all of you applauded for me earlier. I'm gonna ask you, as I do at all meetings that I go to, please keep your applause for the deputies out in the field, the ones that are working hard. You see them in the field, shake their hands. That's the applause that we need. So recent home invasion robberies. So I know that over the course of the past week, there were a few home invasion robberies. They occurred late in the evening time, and we identified potential individuals from outside the area that are coming in. So I'll let you know in regards to home invasion robberies, we don't have them all the time. They are recently in the news because of incidents that occurred last week. However, I can look every single one of you now and tell you the deputies out there at nighttime, when you're at home 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're sleeping and it's cold and it's raining, I can show you times when deputies are actually doing work, making traffic stops and taking people to jail that are trying to victimize the residents here. Our crimes are down this year, over 400 crimes over last year, and our arrests are up, which tells me that although our calls for service are down, the deputies are out there making as much contact with the field to make sure that they're keeping the community safe as best as possible. So, home invasion robberies, if the individual that wrote that afterwards, you're more than welcome to come see me. We'll talk a little bit offline about some of the concerns maybe in the area that you live, and I have your address here. Thank you.
I have been very impressed over the years at the number of youth programs such as YAL, VITA, and Explorers. I'd like to know if you see us continuing these programs. It's hard to read within the community. So YAL, VITA, well, I know department-wide, Sheriff supports YAL and VITA, and we have those programs going in most of our stations as is Santa Clarita. A lot of them are generated from donations, corporate donations, or other groups, so that program will continue. I don't think we would diminish it at all, and I think on behalf of Sheriff Villanueva, he sees the value in it. Those are our feeding groups as we looked at it, we have a lot of success stories. People started out in our YALs, moved up into paid positions where they could mentor other children, eventually applied to the county, got hired, SAs, SOs, security assistants, security officers. I had a lot of them work for me at the courts, and then some of them eventually applied to become deputy sheriffs and move right through the organization. That's one of the values that those programs bring to us, and we have to continue that because it's the future of our department. One of the problems that happened with our department was attrition took over in December 3rd of last year, we had 952 vacancies within the Sheriff's Department. We're an organization of 18,000 people, but still that number was daunting. And in order to replace those bodies, to fill those vacancies, which affects every community, including our own, we had to begin a recruitment and hiring program unlike we've done in a long time. So what we've done is we've increased the number of academy classes over the next 12 months, which includes the COC campus for us, along with Vista Luz Center and Whittier. So we're going from 6 academy classes to 12 over the next 12 months. We plan to hire 1,000 people this year and continue 1,000 more into the next year. Well, that just doesn't happen by chance. The reason that we had the department shrinking in the past was I think we were very hard on our deputies. We were a little oppressive to our own employees. Well, Mr. Villanueva turned that around day one. I think he's trying to empower the deputies to go out and serve the communities. We haven't lowered any standards. We haven't given anybody any free breaks. What we've done is empowered deputies to serve their communities. And in doing so, they become the best recruiters for our department. Like you heard Captain Lewis talk about his deputies. They're the ones out there doing the job, but they're also the ones out there that are going to find the next generation of deputy sheriff for us. If they're not happy working for us, they're not going to encourage other people to work for us. If they are happy, which we've seen to have seen a turnaround in morale, then our recruiting numbers have gone up, our ability to hire has gone up, and that's going to solve a lot of problems for us. So back to the original question, yes, we're going to continue with our youth program. The problem with dealing with recruiter, filling jobs for veterans, seeking LASD, non-sworn jobs. I think I just answered that. What may have been a problem in the past is no longer a problem for us. We're not only encouraging children, people from our communities to apply, but also our veterans. Sheriff Villanueva is a veteran. He belongs at the Star Post. He has made it, his mission to get out and recruit in those communities. So if you're our veteran, you apply to the department, come back and see us again. If it didn't work out, we'll figure out why. Because there's positions at all levels. We have all kinds of civilian positions along with sworn. There's vacancies all throughout the organization. And we'll be hiring over the next 2 years to fill those vacancies, as I said. We have an ICE question, and I'm gonna read the ICE questions, but I'm gonna just kind of go into the sheriff's philosophy about what's occurring, what his platform was when he ran for sheriff, and what he's actually done. I have had the opportunity to sit in the meetings with the stakeholders, cheer law, members of different organizations, and our jail command staff to figure out his path for how we're going to deal with immigrants, at least in the jails. SB 54 is the law of the land, and that is what the sheriff is allowed to follow. He does not want to violate state law. He does not want to violate federal law. So a lot of what he's done is based on that. What are the rules? The rules are we have to provide inmates in our custody being asked for by ICE to ICE officials. That is what we do. What the sheriff has done has restricted ICE agents wearing a windbreaker that says police or ICE on it from entering our jails. His philosophy is it creates an unstable environment when inmates are in custody, when they are looking at possible deportation to see ICE agents roaming the jails. So what they do is, what we do now is, we have contractors from the federal government that come to the jail and we provide the inmates that they're asking for. We comply with federal law. That's what we're bound to do. But we do not allow ICE to work inside the jail any longer, and that has been the policy since Mr. Villanueva took over. So removing dangerous SB 54 crimes.
That's safe or less safe?
From the list of misdemeanors that we used to provide to ICE, they have narrowed the list. I'm not an expert on what crimes were taken off or what weren't, but a lot of them were done.
I can give you a copy to read them off right here.
Yeah, we've got it right here.
I'm not the expert on that.
I'll read it out for you.
We can discuss it afterwards, or if you want to have. some crimes that were misdemeanor, that were unique to certain locations like Sacramento, bringing a gun into the chambers of legislature. That wouldn't apply to LA County anyways. I know some of them are taken off. As I'm witnessing, not everybody's happy with our current list, but a current list does exist of over 100 crimes, in which we still report to ICE as is federally mandated. And that is the sheriff's philosophy towards that subject as well as I know. I am going to call Captain Lewis back up regarding sightings of MS-13 gang members in Newhall. Is there a cause for alarm?
Absolutely. So, Santa Clarita does have a gang issue. Does not have a gang problem, is the way I'll address it. I have a very active 6 gang detectives working at the station that work very closely with several of the area constituents in order to make sure that they identify and address. As far as MS-13, I'm aware that we have in the past arrested MS-13 individuals. However, as far as MS-13 and a problem with MS-13 up here, no. We do have some ingrown gangs that are local gangs. Newhall 13 is one of them. Brown Familia is another one. There's another one, Valverde 13. Now, all those, I say that they have been around for years. They are what we call generational gangs that started out here in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. The reason I know that is because I grew up out here in Santa Clarita. I've been out here for over 51 years. So I've been around all of them. I dealt with a lot of them when I was out here as a corporate detective and also as a lieutenant. So I want to let you know that we do have some gang members out here. But the biggest thing we do with the gang members is we make contact with them and let them know, hey, if you're going to live out here, we respect you. Live out here, enjoy living out here. Please don't do criminal activity out here. It's those that we come in contact that have either criminal backgrounds or do criminal activity out here that we come in contact with, that we identify who they are, we make contact with them and make sure that we know who they are and where they live.
When you say please, does it work?
Can you elaborate on deputy gangs within your department within LASD? Could you elaborate on that? Deputy gangs, could you elaborate on that?
Follow the questions. If you'd like to write a question, I'd be more than happy to address it.
So you're not going to let the audience address?
What is your strategy to work closely with the faith communities, especially in regards to security concerns and houses of worship?
Come back up. So, no, it's okay. I won't go too far. So, yes, we work with all houses of worship in Santa Clarita, from the Jewish community to the Muslim community. We have great communication and great contact with them. We are always available if they have any questions or if they have any needs. We try to address as much as possible. For instance, if an incident occurs in a different county or in a different state and there's we need some heightened security, we always provide that as much as possible, as quickly as possible, once we find out that incidents occur. But we do have a great working relationship with all of them. We have actually great communication in regards to some of their security councils to make sure that we have all security measures available for them as quickly as possible.
You made some promises to organizations in the community before you took your oath of office and after. Take any cover now. Would like you to keep your word. Have a meeting. You committed.
Can you speak up?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Have a meeting you committed to. Hear the current concerns of the community within the next 30 days and would appreciate it. So that's from Dignity and Power Now, and I will note that for the sheriff. Various issues in the Castaic area, including trucking district and Pitches Detention Center.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so who here lives in the Castaic area or the county area? Okay. So the Castaic area, the county area, over the course of the past several months, we've seen some issues and concerns in regards to traffic. And that's just because of the work they're doing on Interstate 5 Freeway. I know that it's completed recently, but I know there's been some problems with traffic. I can tell you this, though, in regards to public safety, officer response, deputy response, CHP response, and fire response. I have a great relationship with Chief Mackey, and I have a great relationship with Captain Cruising. During times, especially when it was holiday weekends, and we knew there was going to be a lot of traffic, there was going to be a delayed response up there, we actually altered our deployment, and we actually provided law enforcement services. We kept them in the Castaic area in order to make sure that we had a quick response if there was a need. I knock on wood because we haven't had that issue or concern yet. In regards to Castaic Road, recently we started the summer enforcement team. Lieutenant Diaz, about 3 weeks ago? About 3 weeks ago, the summer enforcement team, which is provided by Catherine Barger in the 5th District, and I have Steph English here from the 5th District. They are great supporters. They gave us the summer enforcement team. We've actually been on Castaic Road, and I can let you know that we have addressed some of the issues and concerns on Castaic Road with the trucks and with the truckers parking in the middle of the road, which was a significant problem, officer safety problem, and also a community safety and hazard. So we have addressed some of those problems. I have been given the citations from there, so I make sure that they're handling in as much as we can do in regards to issuing citations. We're doing it. In regards to the public safety on whether it's Castaic Road or Castaic in general, I can let you know that in Castaic in general, Brian Rooney is my Zone 2 deputy. He's not in here, but Brian Rooney is great support out there. Our crime has been reduced out in the county area of Castaic as well over the course of the past 6 months. Brian Rooney's been a great advocate for that. And anyone, whoever asked that question, more than happy to talk to you offline. If there's any other concerns that you may have in regards to Castaic Road that you've seen in the past couple of weeks that maybe we are not addressing, more than happy to talk to you afterwards so we can make sure we address the specific point. And that's what I need to know, is the specific points.
I have another expert in the room. I have a question about mentally ill inmates and the homeless. Come on up and address. Obviously, homelessness is a problem in all communities, including ours. Lieutenant Jeff Dietrich from our Community Policing Bureau is our expert in homelessness and mentally ill, and he will give you a few answers to your questions.
Hi, good evening. As the chief said, my name is Jeff Dietrich. I'm the lieutenant that oversees Sheriff Villanueva's Homeless Outreach Services team. And it's nice to see some of you here that we've worked with in the past. But it's important that we come to these, one, to discuss what we're doing now and what we're going to be doing in the future. My team is comprised originally of one deputy sheriff for LA County. Under the new leadership of the Sheriff's Department, and as we're transitioning, I now have 11 deputies, a sergeant, and myself. And I'd like to introduce my sergeant. Sergeant Bill Kitchen, where you at? Right there. Deputy Joshua Paulson, who serves your community. Deputy Robert Carrillo, and Deputy Shai Sheckler. Those are 3 deputies on the host team that is serving North County Division. So our patrol divisions, we have 4. We have East, Central, South, and North. And so as the stations are broken up, you actually have dedicated deputy sheriffs from the Homeless Outreach Services team to partner with the station assets to make sure, one, that it's a continual policy throughout the Sheriff's Department, one, that we have hands-on and not delayed information of real-time situations going on in your community. And I'm here to tell you, you have one of the greatest station-level teams in the county. Under the leadership of Captain Lewis, you have Sergeant Dantes, you have Deputy Shackelford, Deputy Duxford, and Deputy, Rooney, that he just spoke about. They are the most integrated team I have seen throughout the county. They have done multiple outreach operations. They're connecting those with homelessness to services that they need. They're making appropriate arrests when needed, but they're addressing it, and that's a big deal. So you should be giving them a hand right now. And one of the reasons that the sheriff asked me to come to talk to you is to articulate what the LA County Homeless Encampment Policy is. It was a visionary policy that was created back in 2012 by the executive leadership of the county. And we are very blessed today to have Supervisor Barker's office, who's here, that's been a very strong supporter of our team, along with the sheriff, and watching our team expand. And the question that I have, and so I can integrate my answer with this question, is from Sharon Dallas. She basically says, what is the plan to make sure our homeless community doesn't end up like the Valley or Los Angeles. And I look at it a little different, but it allows me to say what we do. Our policy is this: when we have a significant encampment or 5 or more people, where they routinely gather, they've stored their belongings, and they have a shelter, our policy then is kicked in. Now, this policy is based on respect for human life, the dignity of the person, and adherence to the law, both federal, state, and county. So if we can accomplish those things, we have a pretty sound policy. And so as I explain what that policy is, and I'll get there. You want me to get there?
Yeah, I do.
You like that? 1, identification. Anyone in the room can say there's a homeless encampment. There is no restriction. It does not have to be a government official. It does not have to be law enforcement. So anyone, and there's a form. The form isn't really distributed publicly. However, you can go to the website LA Hop. LA Hop is created, it's an online portal through LASA where you can put in there 1234 Main Street, 6 people sent. That then goes to the case managers, distributed to our team, and we have 48 hours to go out and do an assessment of that location. Now, traditionally, other entities and municipalities send a couple people out to go see who's there. What we do is we send the host team that I just told you about, a station asset such as your team, a mental health team, drug diversion counselors, substance abuse counselors. It can be up to 50 people. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 50, depending on what you report. And we do a true assessment. We videotape, we interview, we take pictures of the property, we document what is there. And so the question is, why would we do all that? Because others in the past didn't, lost your money in community lawsuits because they didn't follow certain procedures. Our policies protect not only the community, but the department from litigation, because it proves that we are respecting the Constitution and adhering to the constitutional rights of someone's property. Now we have the identification and an assessment. For an example, there's 8 people there. 2 have alcohol problems. They're connected with alcohol. 2 people have mental illness issues. They're connected with our mental health counselors. If they need hospitalization, they're taken, because the doctors and the clinicians are with us. There are no other phone calls to be made. Every professional that can address that is on site at the time. We have someone that says, my aunt lives in Idaho. We get them home. Through LASA, they have a thing where if you can confirm at the other end, we get them home. We also call the family. What we found is quite often, what happens is if we find a family member, sometimes people give up reporting them missing. They get a call from the sheriff's department, and all of a sudden they have a change of heart, and they let the family member back. So those things. So identification, assessment, and then we have outreach for a period of time. Most of the time we hear, this has been here for years. This has been here for months. We can do this in 5 minutes, or we can do it in 6 months. During El Nino, we had a 3-month lead time, and we also had encampments where we did this whole policy in 10 minutes to save someone's life. But we follow it A to Z. After outreach is done, there's a posting. Posting is simply on June 9th, 2019, the LASD Public Works or City of Santa Clarita is coming here to clean it up. A municipality lost $600,000 in a lawsuit by following our protocol but didn't post, and the judge ruled that they failed to give that person the common decency and respect to get there, and they lost the lawsuit. And the person that was experiencing homelessness was awarded a large sum of money. So we do that. And we document that we did that with videotape and pictures. And then we have the cleanup, the final cleanup. What happens at the cleanup is any municipality that just literally throws property away, they have violated the constitutional rights of that person, subject to the city, the department, and the county to multiple lawsuits. We don't. Public Works has a contract with different entities and sometimes cities where they store someone's property if they can't carry it. The storage is simple. It's put in some type of bag, a receipt's written. A receipt is given to the homeless person saying on between 90 days from here to here, you can pick up your property Monday, Friday, 8 to 5. By doing that, we adhere to the constitutional requirement. And since 2011, LA County Sheriff's Department has had 0 lawsuits, 0 uses of force, 0 civil complaints, and 0 citizen complaints relating to homeless encampments. she asked was, why is homelessness getting worse? And I'm glad you asked that because, one, we have to look at it this way. Law enforcement, and I'll finish with this, law enforcement is not the solution. That's what we've done for the last 50 years. The last 50 years, when you call the police departments or sheriff's departments to address homelessness, you have two options. One is arrest, and two is drive away. And when you see a deputy drive away, it's frustrating you because you're like, why didn't they do anything? There was nothing they could do. Now, with the voter-approved Measure H, with the support of the supervisors, and I should have told you this. Our team is one of the first teams in the country that have that outreach component embedded in our vehicles. We have a 10-member LASA host team themselves that do that outreach that is in the police cars with my deputies.
We complain about the homelessness, and the cops come out, and the next thing they're all there. Why?
So what she's saying is if you make a complaint and about a homeless person, why would they still be there? And so it's important to note that being homeless is not a crime. However, people of all walks of life do commit crimes. The sheriff is very clear. There is nothing in our policy that dissuades the deputy sheriff from making an arrest when probable cause exists. What we're looking to do, though, is if somebody is drunk in public and they have a severe situation and they are receptive to help, if they go to the hospital to get an okay to book, you just took Deputy Shackelford out of your streets for 6 hours to sit in an ER while someone says he or she is drunk enough or not too drunk to go to jail. If they're with us and Deputy Shackelford with her partner connects her to a substance abuse person, they go to a treatment facility and she's back in the field within 15 minutes. So it's a different time. That's the way we're addressing it. Each contact is unique. And what we're trying to do is simply explain and partner with you so you see what the Sheriff's Department is doing, because we have an unprecedented level of support, and with us working together, I mean, we recognize it's frustrating. I've done this for 11 or... No, I can't do that.
They have no visible means of support, they're stealing their stuff.
Well, the bottom line with me is, thank you for your time. I hope I addressed that question. And if you look around at other cities and municipalities and the current lawsuits they're in, it was because they did not have this protocol. And so the protocol that we follow has worked, and thank you for your time.
Before we go to the next question, to be able to address what you have, I'll make it available for you to talk to Deputy Shackelford and the individuals in the back afterwards about some of the outreach programs we have here in Santa Clarita. We're very specific in what we do. We partner with the city to deal and work with the homeless. So you can talk to them afterwards. Moving forward, the next question I have, do you enforce traffic regulations for bicycles and pedestrians? Often see bicycles on the wrong side of the road. So the answer is yes. Over the course of the last year, we have been doing enforcement in regards to bicycles, in regards to crosswalk, in regards to distracted driving and distracted bicyclists and people who are walking across the crosswalk with their cell phones. So we've been trying to do that enforcement because it's not just the people driving the cars, it's also the people that are not driving and walking, not paying attention to where they're going. We do deal with bicycles. As far as how many citations we have issued over the course of the last year, that's something I would have to research. And then I could talk to the individual offline afterwards, get the number and make contact in order to address how many citations we've written and what type of operations we're going to be running over the course of the next couple of months.
I just want to go ahead and finish reading the last of these questions. I don't know if I've answered them or have an answer for them. I saved most of them to the end because they're ICE related. But I think because people took the time to write them, that I should ask them. Allow ICE access to illegal immigrant criminals in our jails for deportation. And then there's a comment about criminal activity coming from Palmdale and Lancaster to Santa Clarita Valley. Where does an illegal alien derive any rights from? The rights are only a league citizen owns. SB 54, Pat's undocumented criminals on the streets, Why not deport criminals? Your oath to my safety, your oath to the Constitution is not happening. Why can't the sheriff obey our Constitution and laws on the books when he should protect the American citizens and not continue to protect the illegals in the county of Los Angeles. Sanctuary Cities, SB 54, feuding with ICE, and it's conflict of the oath of office. Okay, I talked a little bit about the sheriff's philosophy on ICE and the jails. As law enforcement officers, LA County Sheriff's deputies, my career began in 1985, like I talked about, and immigration status of somebody I was arresting wasn't an issue. We didn't begin asking questions about people's country of origin until the paperwork required it during booking based on a court case. We were all sworn in as deputy sheriffs under the peace officers standards and training state of California. We are state law enforcement officers. It wasn't in my training to be a federal immigration officer.
So safety is.
So where that intersects is not these deputies that work in the streets. That intersects in our jails, and that's the policies that Sheriff Villanueva has changed, altered to comply with SB 54 and to make it a safer environment for our deputies and the people within our custody. I don't think that answers the questions. Obviously, I probably won't please everybody in the room with that answer. That is what I got for you.
Does it make us less safe or more safe? Just less or more? Just give me that. Less or
I
more
will not
safe?
opine, because I'm not up here to opine. What I would like to do
You're supposed to answer our question. You asked us to come here so you can answer our question.
well,
You're not
Answer my question, where does the
You're denying my
illegal aliens
question.
right, his
So
right?
don't say
I have
you
not
want us
denied
to
anybody's
answer.
question.
You're denying
I
my
am
question.
giving you the policy as I understand it.
Less
The
safe, more
sheriff-
safe. Which is it?
Where
If the
does the
sheriff was here,
sheriff
he would
get
answer.
You
off
work for me.
changing the
Answer my
SC-54
question.
law?
I do.
You
Is
work
he a
for me.
dictator?
I
Answer
work
my
for the
question.
community, and I think the sheriff has been very clear
Part of the community.
that community oriented policing, serving the community, as you heard from Lieutenant Dietrich, all members of the community, whether they're in our custody or whether they're living on our streets, that is our goal, is to serve that community. And I
Not serving
think
me.
What about taxpaying citizens?
Captain Lewis has made it clear. I believe his
Doesn't serve
deputies
me.
are out there doing that every day. If I'd
You're
like
not
to
serving
take a
that,
minute,
man.
I'd like to introduce Chief Neer. He is a veteran of the North County and has worked Station. Now he's the chief over this division.
Thank you, Chief Delmise. On behalf of Sheriff Villanueva, who really wanted to be here tonight, I just want to say it's my honor to be with you here tonight, to open up some dialogue, to address some concerns, and to really talk about community policing and the true essence of community policing. Now first, I want to make it very clear, and I want to thank our deputies who are here tonight, along with the community at large, because we are experiencing the lowest crime rate in the history of this city, Santa Clarita. It is currently one of the top safest cities in the state of California, and I'm very proud of that because I have family members who live here and work in this community. So it makes me proud when I see these deputies out there in the tan and green, working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, putting their lives on the line to keep us safe so we can sleep at night, knowing that they're out there. They're out there responding, and they're out there doing the Lord's work. So thank you, each and every deputy sheriff who's here tonight. You know, as Sheriff Villanueva has mentioned many times, and I really appreciate his philosophy. And he takes a quote from Sir Robert Peel, who many people consider the architect of community policing. And what he said almost 200 years ago is the police are the public and the public are the police. So essentially, our deputies are entrusted to keep the community safe. However, we can't do that job alone. We have to partner with the community. And Captain Rob Lewis has done a phenomenal job in partnering with the communities that we serve to have reserve deputies, search and rescue deputies, volunteers on patrol, our explorers who are truly the leaders, the future leaders of this community, and many others working hand in hand to keep this community safe. and to make it truly a place to call home. So I want to thank Captain Rob Lewis as well for his effort. The man worked so hard in carrying out the mission and the vision of our Sheriff, Alex Villanueva. Rob has really taken it upon himself to use technology. He uses technology to our advantage through intelligence-led policing. We use many technologies in terms of crime mapping to figure out the best strategies in working with our communities and moving forward to solve crimes, to bring perpetrators to justice, and to keep all of you safe. And we're going to continue to do that better than ever before with this new station that is being currently built right off of Golden Valley. That, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, that new station that's being built right down the street here, that's going to be the crown jewel of the Santa Clarita Valley. And I want to thank City Manager Ken Strickland. Don't know if he's here, but he's really made a true concerted effort in the building and construction, along with the partnership of Catherine Barger, our supervisor of the 5th District. She has been supporting us every step of the way. So those are going to be some of the developments in the next couple of years. We also have plans, we're in the preliminary stages to build a state-of-the-art emergency vehicle operations center right there off of the 5 freeway in Castaic, where it is located by the Pitches Detention Center. We're going to build a training facility for our deputy sheriffs, so we ensure that they have the best driving skills in serving the public, because that's our bread and butter, getting our deputies and ensuring our deputies get from point A to point B in the safest manner possible. So we're going to have a concerted effort working with the city, contract cities, working with the County Board of Supervisors to have an emergency vehicle operations center built right here in the Santa Clarita Valley so that we can better serve you, our constituents, because we are your sheriff's department. With that said, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Thank you.
I would just like to end by saying thank you to Captain Bob Lewis, Lieutenant Justin Diaz, Deputy Nancy Hidalgo, Officer Marcelo Ramirez, Cynthia Gonzalez, the Recreation Coordinator, Mayor Marsha McLean, and Ken Strickland, your City Manager. Thank you very much. Good night.